A delay. Hold on. It's preparing. It just defaulted to Jared's highlight tape from 1990.
Sweet. Go Jared.
With Spectrum Mobile, switching is easy, and it's just $45 a.
We should be live.
Okay, we ready?
Let me get back to Zoom.
Very good.
And
Make sure everybody's here.
Yep.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. We apologize for the delay. We had a little technical difficulty, but we're ready to start our monthly board meeting. Nick, can you do the call to order, please?
Pledge allegiance is first.
Oh, on mine, it's got the call of order. I'm sorry. It is, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Where's Katie? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
and to the republic which it stands,
Stand,
one
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
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 with
liberty,
liberty,
justice
justice
for all.
for all. Thank you. Okay, Nick, go ahead and call the roll.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Davis,
It's here.
Mr. Friday,
Here.
Mr. Landers,
Here.
Mr. Zetz.
Can I just get a confirmation from Amy that we are live streaming?
You know what? I'm having problems finding it. It's not showing up on my
Okay.
phone.
Yes, I have it on YouTube. There's 13 people watching right now.
Okay, so
Okay,
we are good.
Oh, here we go. Yep,
we're good.
yep.
Okay.
Let's continue then.
Nick, Nick,
Yes, I have it on YouTube. There's 13 people watching right now.
Okay.
oh, there's a delay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Good. Let's continue then.
All right. Nick, did you get a yes from Frank?
Frank's muted.
We're watching right
Okay.
now.
Frank,
Frank, you
unmute.
need, there's a delay.
Bottom left corner.
I think he muted his speakers too.
Nick, did you get a yes from Frank?
Frank's muted. Mr. Zetz?
Frank, you need, there's a delay.
Okay, now I think he's frozen.
A couple people, some people have their, the live stream playing over their microphone. And so we're getting a, kind of a weird vibe here. So if you have the live stream, get it away from your microphone.
Amy, mute yourself.
There we go.
We're okay?
I just muted her. Do
All right.
we have
Thank
anything,
you.
for Frank?
I think he's frozen.
That's a
Okay.
Wi-Fi issue.
All right, well, you can see him, Nick, so we'll
Yeah,
just
he's
take
here.
that as a yes. Okay, very good. All right, we will move on to item number 2, which is public participation. Obviously, this is a little different format. So we had everyone email Robin, fill out the form. And Mr. Saxon, I believe you have a handful that you're going to read to us.
Yeah, I have 5. So,
5. Okay.
the first one I have is from Stephanie Rusnoff. It says, Boardman Board of Education. I'm a mother of a Boardman High School class of 2020 senior. It is ever senior's dream to walk across the stage to get their high school diploma. Unfortunately for the class of 2020, this tradition will not be happening. Please do not do a drive-through diploma presentation. There has to be a better way. For example, break the students into groups to receive their diplomas. Have our seniors on the football field with more than 60 in each student. Place their diplomas on a table. Call the student's name and have them walk in their cap and gown to receive their diploma that is placed on the table. No physical contact needs to be made. Let's honor BHS class of 2020 the right way, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Anthony Evans, class of 2020 senior. He rallies for an in-person graduation with proper social distancing in place. Melanie Smith, consider holding commencement in outdoor stadium, practicing social distancing. Kids can be 6 feet apart on field and 4 people per student in stands. Guests can be dispersed dismissed by last name to avoid crowds. We can all wear masks if requested. This one's from Brian Wagner. Issues I am concerned with. We are parents of an only child, which makes this 2020 graduation significantly important to our family. We have spent the last 18 years raising and guiding our son. This is the climatic moment of his transition from childhood to adulthood. We'll never have the opportunity to experience this send-off ever again. I only know what I read and hear in the news, but it seems to me that the administration has not been fighting in any way to preserve this moment for these seniors. Common sense dictates numerous potential solutions, such as doing multiple ceremonies in groups in our stadium, spacing people at least 6 feet apart, and limiting 2 parents per child. I'm disappointed the administration hasn't publicly advocated any of these plans and shown they are fighting for our seniors. I feel everything my son has given to this school through efforts in scholastics, band, jazz ensemble, and football. I would expect in return the school would have his back and fight for him. All of our seniors deserve the same respect. A virtual graduation is a slap in the face to these deserving seniors. You are telling them they are not important enough for you to dig in and fight to preserve their once-in-a-lifetime moment. Graduation is still 8 weeks away, which is a tremendous amount of time to make arrangements for a live or modified live graduation. I know the students would be happy to have this live ceremony at any time. I ask the board members to reflect deeper on this situation. Please put yourself in the shoes of our seniors, desperately looking for someone to see the value in their accomplishments and fight for them. Right now, we need true heroes. Will you be their hero, or will you turn your backs on them? Thank you for your consideration, and please make the right decision. Brian Wagner. And finally, this one is from Noah Basista, who is the class president, the 2020 senior class president. Dear Mr. Saxon, board members and board administrators, I'm writing to you as class president and the voice of the class of 2020. Over the past 13 years, my classmates and I have been Spartan proud, Spartan strong, and have dedicated our lives as students in academics, in the arts, and in athletics. Since last Friday's video announcement to the seniors, I've received many concerns about the senior end of year activities. Many seniors believe there may be a more creative way to honor our class of 2020. My fellow students have expressed an interest in being part of the solution. As I end my run at Boardman High School, I do not want our great class of 2020 to be remembered as the ones that were quarantined. Our class of 2020 was born into the world during the tragedy of 9/11. It is only fitting to graduate during a pandemic. We are built to overcome all adversity. We are built to think outside the box and get creative. Our class came together to honor College Decision Day on the class of 2020 Instagram page run by the students. Spartan Stadium has been an ongoing project over our entire high school careers. We have watched the construction and taken part in the fundraisers. The new Spartan Stadium is the diamond of our Boardman Schools campus. The class of 2020 believes we should utilize our stadium to its fullest potential. Maintaining Governor DeWine's guidelines and proper social distancing, commencement on the turf could be the safest and most memorable way to our great Boardman class of 2020 to receive diplomas. Commencement in Spartan Stadium is uncharted waters, but so is the current state of our society as we know it. I believe commencement on the turf would be a very special and possible way to honor the class of 2020. There's also the option to break the ceremony down into several smaller ceremonies so that the seniors and parents can spread out safely. This is just the first suggestion for a more creative alternative. Honestly, a drive-up graduation has not been well received by my classmates. Keeping social distancing guidelines and the safety of everyone involved is certainly a priority. As class president, I understand this is a challenging time, and planning for graduation and other school events are also challenging. If a virtual ceremony is the only avenue Bourne wants to investigate, then I request we do something else so the seniors feel special. There have been some ideas shared by other school districts facing the same challenges. One easy but fun suggestion is a senior parade that follows a designated route so the community can cheer on the senior class. The entire class is willing to collaborate with the board and administrators to make the best positive ceremony for our class of 2020. In the current state of our world, hope is all the senior class has. Each day, we hope the doctors and scientists come closer to a vaccine. We hope our neighbors are recovering. We hope all families have meals to eat each day. We hope for some form of normalcy as we begin the next chapter of our young adult lives. As we approach the end of a 13-year run in Boardman schools, we also hope to graduate in Spartan fashion. Sincerely, Noah Basista, Boardman High School, class of 2020, and Bucknell University, 2024. Those are submitted for public participation.
Do you want to address them at this time?
Yeah, obviously, I just,
I mean, I
I
know
don't want
Cindy
people up to-
answered no already.
yeah, she put no, but I mean, you can see there's a common theme here that people want to have the ceremony in the stadium. And I know I've gotten a couple emails and I've replied to them. And what I've said is we looked at that. But what I think most people don't realize was last week on Thursday, and it's now posted on our website for everyone to read, we received the directive from the Ohio Department of Education and the governor saying clearly that we are not to have these large mass gatherings, in-person ceremonies. They've asked us to make these virtual, and they've asked us to do these on the day that we originally had scheduled commencement or day that's very close. They've asked us not to delay it till July because they know some students will be going into the military, some will be entering the workforce, and some may actually be leaving to go to college. So we're following that guideline from our governor and from the Ohio Department of Education. And recently, as of today, our Mahoney County Health Department reiterated the exact same thing, telling schools that this is not what you're supposed to do. These mass gatherings in a stadium, you need to do a virtual commencement. So I know Mrs. Fernback, and she'll be releasing details in the next couple of days, especially as kids pick up caps and gowns, wants to create a virtual ceremony where each graduate will have the opportunity to walk across the gym like they would have. They can have a very small limited number of guests that will be then recorded. We will then compile all those 300 and some walkthroughs and create a full commencement ceremony. Our game plan is then to play that at 2 o'clock on the actual day of commencement. So people live, we could play it on YouTube like we're doing now. And then families in their own homes can watch that ceremony. And then this next piece we're exploring, we got to work with obviously with our local police to make sure they're comfortable. Then we'd have parents come up, 1 car per family, come up to the high school, park in the student parking lot in their assigned spots. We'd set up a podium, a stage, so to speak, in the front of the high school. And then the graduating class, each senior would be able to pull up in their car, and they can, Mrs. Fernback is promoting that they could decorate their car. The senior can get out in their cap and gown and then actually receive their diploma, and then continue on. So they can, one, virtually have a whole ceremony that will be recorded, and they will have that for posterity. But they'll also be able to then, I call it a hybrid, they'll also be able to actually physically get their actual diploma. I know Noah's asked about a parade. That would be something we'd have to have the blessing of the Boardman Police Department on. We'd have to talk to the police chief. And like I said, there's other factors there. So again, I get it. It's tough.
We all get it. We're all Boardman alumni. Most of us from Boardman alumni, we get it.
Yeah. So
it's not what we want.
There's no easy answers, but I know Mrs. Fernback and her team are really trying to make something that's special for these Boardman seniors, concerning the guidelines and the limitations we have to work with them. So,
and she's willing to work with Noah, who's going to be the voice of the classmates.
Yeah.
So
they've put together, I know our students and our administration have put together a couple very nice ceremonies to recognize some different events. So hopefully this will be another one.
I agree. Okay, that was all 5.
That's it.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to item number 6, the consent agenda. Or wait a minute, where are we at here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, unfinished business. There we go. The approval of the agenda. Sorry, my page is stuck. Okay, number 3, approval of the agenda. Is there any changes?
No changes.
No changes. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the agenda, consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Okay, give a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. I don't have any. Oh, sorry, Nick, go ahead and vote.
Yeah, Nick needs a vote.
Go ahead.
Ms. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Freda,
Aye.
Mr. Landers,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Zetz,
Sounds like we're having some Wi-Fi issues. He's unmuted, so.
It was not my dog.
Uh,
His appears to be frozen. You seen the same?
Mhm.
I don't see him at all.
I have him, but it's a static picture.
Sounds like bandwidth.
Yeah.
All right, I'll mark it as 4-0 approved.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 4 is unfinished business. I don't have anything unless you guys have anything. No? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move on to item number 5, which is board members' business. And I believe we decided under this item that we're going to delay our workshop till probably June, early June. Is that okay? Yeah. We
I'd
don't
rather
need to
do
meet.
it, rather do it in person.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so moving on to consent agendas, item number 6, need a motion to approve items A through L.
So moved.
Okay, in a second.
Second.
Okay. Tim, you want to go through the items?
Yes, before we do that,
Yes.
on a previous consent agenda, we hired a family advocate. Mrs. Fowler talked a little bit about that advocate, and I'm going to invite her into the meeting so you can meet her. She was not able to make the last meeting, but she is here. So I have her in the waiting room. I'm going to put her in, but I'm going to turn her over to Katie.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Certainly, we hoped that you would be able to meet Ariel in person, but that just doesn't seem to be in the cards for anybody right now. So we at least wanted to bring her into this virtual meeting so you could put a face with a name. She's been in the news. She's been in a lot of virtual meetings with our staff across the district. So sorry, you guys are kind of the last to formally meet her, but we just want to bring her in for a couple minutes to say hello to you. She does have 2 kiddos here in the district and has a bachelor's and a master's degree from YSU, and is very outgoing and bubbly and full of energy. So I'm really excited to have her on our team.
She's in there.
Is she
Hi,
in there?
Ariel.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Ariel, there she is. Hey,
Good
girl.
evening. How are
Welcome.
you guys? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. How you doing so far?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah?
good. Hanging in there. Yeah.
Have you had a lot of people reach out to you?
Not a whole lot. I have
Okay.
had a couple here and there reach out. I've been kind of putting the word out just to see if people actually knew that I was here and kind of give them a better understanding of what I was doing with the district and everything. So mainly getting the word out right now.
Gotcha. Amy, do we have a spot for her on the website?
Okay, we do.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
We do? Okay, so we can direct a link to her page or not
She's
yet?
she's on Katie's page, and there
Okay.
was, right now she's in the news section of the website where
Okay.
the introduction and her picture's there and some contact information. So
Okay, and a phone number or just by email if anybody needs to contact
there's
her?
email for sure. I think the phone number was it updated? I want to make sure we have the right one. We'll get it on if it's not.
Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you for popping in, Ariel.
Thank you so much.
All
Nice
right.
meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
all.
Take
Yes.
care.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Alrighty.
All right, let's go through the consent agenda. I'll highlight a few items. You can see a couple resignations. Larry Davis is seeking retiree hire. Mary Lou Day Soleil, longtime educator at Boardman, is retiring. And Julia has received a position teaching at the college level, so she'll be moving on. Going down to non-renewals of on-staff supplemental contracts. These are, as you know, we've done in the past. We non-renew all the splits. We always reset those, put them back to whole. Those are just the whole total of our splits. The other section for non-renewals on staff supplemental contracts, these are just the mentor contracts. So these are not splits, but these are just 1 year. The RE1s go to RE2s, the RE2s then goes out to the Educational Service Center. The RE1, RE2s are both local mentors, or are part of the state resident educator, but there are mentors. And then the Boardman mentors are for people who are not in the resident educator program, but still need a mentor. So that's our list of mentors. Letter F, off-staff supplementals. As we do every year, we always non-renew the off-staff supplementals. Long-term sub, you see this quite often when a sub hits that 60-day mark. We put them on a 1-year limited contract. For Shelby, she's going to be on that briefly. She starts on April 2nd, but you'll see here down below, then she's going to work through April 24th. But then we have to non-renew her, so there's not an expectancy of employment because the teacher she was subbing for is returning on the 24th. The same thing happens with Dominique and Tricia. They're long-term subs, although they will be finishing through June 30th. The person they're subbing for will not be returning until next school year. We are making some appointments for fall. There's hope that school will start on time and it'll be a different world in the fall. So moving towards that theme of hope, 2 on-staff teachers wishing to be fall coaches. Rachel Ruggieri, this was for work already done. She did the drama production prior, so she missed the approval at the last board meeting. So we have her on for this board meeting. And Chris Clonis, who's in the background here. Chris is helping us out obviously today, but as you know, Chris does a lot outside of the normal school day with BSTN. And these are part of his there's a list of events. He comes up in the evenings, and then he is compensated from general funds for all the different tapings that he has. These were ones that were done before school was moved to remote learning.
Okay.
That's up for your approval.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, go ahead, Nick.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Friday?
Aye.
I can't hear Nick.
Very faint.
Mr. Landers? Mr. Zetz?
I got an eye on him.
I heard that.
Mr.
Aye.
All right.
Good.
5-0.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay. We will move on to item number, are we on
Oh,
item
sorry.
number 7? Treasurer's business.
Treasurer's business.
All right, first we have the March financial statements. This is lined up where we thought we would be in terms of tax advances. We still haven't received our tax settlement, which should hopefully be coming this week. We will have our May 5-year forecast at next board meeting. However, given the current states of the COVID, we don't know where we will be, going forward. So this is a snapshot of where we were or where we expected to be prior to COVID-19, and now we're kind of just trying to figure out where the state and the local funding is going to be. As far as donations go, we are receiving the building phase 3 donation from the Boardman Booster Group, a value of $655,080. We received $5,000 from the Boardman School Fund for Educational Excellence for hotspots or other technology needs for students during this time. $1,700 from Karen and William Berry for the food pantry and other senior activities, and $4,517 from the individuals attached on this spreadsheet for senior signs and other senior activities. We have a then and now in regards to a sanitary sewer relay outside the new stadium building. We also have a transfer from the 004 stadium project lease as a result of not moving forward with phase 4. That was moved into the general fund and then back into the bond retirement fund, which is where we pay our debt. And then the 001 fund transferred to the SAT account that was marked dormant 2 years ago and now is being reactivated. And then we had a bus purchase agreement approved in January. And since that time, we have modified the types of buses that we want to purchase. However, it is the same number of buses. And those are the items up for your consent vote.
Very good, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's business?
So moved.
Yep. And then a second?
Second.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Nick?
Nick, you had said that it's the same number of buses. Are we going to end up paying the same or hopefully less, or to be determined as we go through the process?
Less.
Okay.
And who was the first on that motion?
Me.
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeff.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Nick.
Mr. Zetz?
Ooh, I heard it.
Mr. Landers?
Aye.
Mr. Frada?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item number 8, superintendent's business.
First item up for your approval is a remote learning resolution. It's required by state that the board adopt a resolution allowing us to do the remote learning that we switched to back on March 17th with the governor stay at home and the remote learning order for schools for the rest of the school year. So this is a plan that talks about the details and gives us actually the approval to go ahead and continue the remote learning throughout the calendar year, and the insurances that we're meeting the minimum state number of hours, and specifies that we're following all the normal protocols we would with the regular standard instruction. So that is a necessity that we need to pass. Letter B, E-rate certifications. These are both with access. You may not be used to seeing these on here. Typically, well, in January, you do give me the power to sign E-rate contracts. They go through the government E-rate process, so they're bid, they're quoted, all that. That's all governed by the FCC and the E-rate rules. The only snafu here is all superintendents are voting members of access. So it's a conflict of interest for me to sign that. So that's why I have to bring it to the Board of Education. So the first one is our internet services. That's our internet feed into Boardman High School, and then the feed out to the other buildings. And the second, which is called Category 1. And the second one is the wireless services. That's all the transport of the feed within the building, the access points, the switches, and so forth. That's considered Category 2. So those are up for your approval. And
Okay. Very good. Does anybody have any other questions for Tim?
I think we need a motion
I
first.
know, okay. Can I have a motion to accept items A and B under superintendent's business?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Frank,
I think I heard Frank.
yeah, Frank has a second.
Yeah, I can't. I'm having a hard time hearing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Tim? Hearing none, we can move on.
Vote.
Vote.
Oh, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Frada?
Aye.
Mr. Landers?
Aye.
Mr. Zetz?
Maybe.
I heard something.
Aye.
It was one of the motions.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Nick. All right, we're going to move on to item number 9 with the reports. Jeff, did you have one this month?
I did not.
You skipped calendar events.
Did I? Oh, my Lord. I'm so See?
You're used to the fact that most of our events have been canceled. So I don't,
Exactly,
are there
exactly,
any?
yeah.
yeah, I've asked,
Go ahead.
no, I just asked this to be on here because obviously,
Wait a minute, I'm getting feedback somewhere. Okay,
yeah, we're getting, just want to go over, obviously, we talked about commencement. You know, commencement scheduled for June 7th. Even before the governor's order came out, we thought it was important because we know people have that date circled on their calendar. You know, one of our concerns is, you know, some districts have said, we'll try it in July, or we'll try it in August. A concern is, what if a family already has a function planned for that day? You know, now you may have several already have plans, and you put them in a situation where they choose this or they choose commencement. And I know commencement is definitely a high priority. I just don't want to put families in that situation. We know June 7th is a date that everyone has kept open on their calendar. And that's part of the reason why OD has given that guidance also. You know, one of our graduates goes on to serve his country in the military, and he leaves in July, and we have a late commencement. He can't partake in that. And to me, commencement's always been about the class and honoring the class as a whole. And June 7th is the one date that we know everyone has kept open, so we can honor and hold. Obviously, it's going to look different, but that's the one date we know people have open. Same thing with the Senior Honors Assembly. Again, we cannot gather indoors, but in that case, we can still hold that. It'll be virtual. We do have the senior photos. So the example of how the assembly work, we can still have all our presenters. They'll present just like we're doing here on Zoom. But when that person's name announced, they won't be there to get the award, but we have their senior photo, we can put their award up. So we'll be able to honor the kids that are recognized with the national awards, the state awards, all our local scholarships, and all our different department awards. So we'll still be able to hold that, and that will be May 26th. It'll be 6:30. Once again, that'll be on BSTN YouTube. We also have cap and gown distribution coming up on the 6th and the 7th. And then starting on May 11th is when Mrs. Fernback and the high school team would like to start to schedule those appointments for, once they have their caps and gowns, to come through and start to get those individual shots of them walking through the gymnasium like they would in a traditional commencement. So we don't know about a senior field day. That's something obviously we could push off to later. It might be a nice event, especially in late summer, as a send off to all the seniors going to their different paths, whether it's the workforce, the military, or college, whatever. So that one, we control the venue. But we don't control the guidelines on the number of people that can gather and so forth. So we just have to wait and see on that. So that's just an update. And John, you brought up Right to Read Week. I agree with you. I'd like to work with the staff and see if we can pull off a Right to Read Week, see if we get some people to be guest readers, get classes online, Zoom, and read to them. So we're working on that. It's a good idea.
all right, very good. All right, moving on to legislative liaison. Jeff, do you have a report?
I do not. I looked at the website. I think our legislators have been a little busy with the COVID-19.
Right.
So I called and I didn't get a return call today. So I'm guessing there's not much new from last month.
Okay. Not a problem. We appreciate it. President's comments. I'll just keep it brief. Obviously, on behalf of the board, we want to show our appreciation and say thank you to the staff and the families that have been trying to keep our Spartan students on track for these past several weeks. We know it's not easy. It's not fun for these families. We agree, especially if you've got parents that are working full time and having to come home to that schoolwork. So we want to, again, reiterate to please reach out to the teachers, the principals at each building. If any of the families are struggling, or if you need anything, they're there to help. It's our Spartan tradition to keep it going. So we appreciate that. Other than that, are we on to executive session, or we have everything? I'm looking, my agenda is different than what's up on the board, so.
We're doing the motion, correct, to go into executive session?
Is that where we're at? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Second, okay, Nick? Good,
Ms. Davis,
aye.
Mr. Frida. Aye. Mr. Landers,
Aye.
Mr. Zetz,
Got it.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
We are in executive session as of 7:06.
Okay, so at this time, for the people reviewing, we're going to stop the video feed as we go into executive session. When executive session is over, we will resume the video feed. I don't know.
Somebody's got to mute something because I can't hear.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I'll repeat that. Just we're going to stop the video feed because we're going into executive session. And then we'll resume the video feed when we come out of executive session. My guess is it needs 45 minutes to an hour at least. So just to give people a heads up. Okay. So I'm going to stop the video feed at this time. And then I'm going to unmute Chris. It's a 20-second delay though, isn't it?